Wish TV is proud to honor teachers in Central Indiana.
She is an inspiration to all of us.
He's always smiling.
Who go above and beyond.
He's done so many things for so many people.
She's inspirational.
Making a difference.
He's always taught me to believe in myself and never get down on myself.
Everybody's biggest cheerleader.
And deserving of recognition for their outstanding efforts in education.
I love the people that I work with. And to know that I've made an impact on somebody's life, it's truly a great honor.
It's an honor. I love what I do, and the kids are the ones who make it work. I'm just so taken aback because I love them so much. The fact that, they love me just as much just means a lot. Sorry, you're going to have to cut that part out.
And you are our winner.
Oh, thank you so much.
From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the Golden Apple Awards podcast.
Hey everyone, Hannah Mordeau here. This month's Golden Apple Award winner is Miss Allie DeHart. She's an elementary school special education teacher in Perry Township who is so committed to the kids she teaches both in and out of her classroom. And this time of year, she makes the season extra special for every student. So we went to surprise her with the Golden Apple Award. But it all happened so fast, so I gave her a minute, let her pause through the holidays, then we caught back up together. I do want to apologize in advance, though. My mic was cutting out during our conversation. The good news is you can hear Miss Allie DeHart with no problem. So listen in. Miss Allie DeHart, thanks for being here. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good. So it's been a little bit since the story aired. How are you feeling now?
I guess I've just been honored, more honored as more time has went by because of all the people I've heard from. It's been really nice. Like the people that I didn't even realize would see it have seen it. So it was great to hear from some former teachers and stuff like that, people that I haven't heard from in a while. So
I love to hear that. Fill us in a little bit. How did you get started in all of this?
My mom was a teacher growing up, so I kind of always had a role model in her. And then in high school, I became Donnie's nanny. And Donnie has autism. His mom passed away whenever he was 7 and I was in high school. And so I became his nanny, and that kind of just opened up the world of special ed to me. And that's when I became Katie's who you interviewed, Katie's cadet teacher in high school. And so, I was really lucky enough to have all those role models, and really Donnie inspired me to do this.
What keeps you coming back and so motivated?
I would say that the motivation comes from the relationships that I can build with their families. Something that teachers in general ed rooms sometimes don't get the opportunity to do is really have that small amount of children at one time, and then also keep those students for more than 1 year. So I'm lucky enough to almost always get to keep them for more than 1 year. And I do believe we just have a huge impact on their lives. And we get to really get to know them on a personal level, and we really affect all of their, every part of their life, not just their academic success.
Giving these gifts that you do at the holiday season, does that make that even more impactful? Because I know these aren't just presents.
Yeah, it's super impactful to get to know them so deeply, and then what kind of impact that makes on them too. I heard from a few parents over break, which is really nice just to hear how much they enjoyed the things that they got. I always want to assume that they're getting all of those Christmas gifts at home, but I do think that it makes a huge difference. Just it kind of takes a weight off some parents too, because they know that they're really getting spoiled rotten at school for Christmas. So, yeah.
Tell me about the importance of Miss Amazing. I'm not familiar with the pageant world, and I wasn't familiar with Miss Amazing.
So I am the director for the state of Indiana for Miss Amazing. So I plan our Amplify program every year, which is kind of follows a pageant idea. And then, I work with the other directors around the nation to help make our program better, and give our girls and women opportunities to work on their confidence and things like that on stage and in an interview. And so we do stuff all year round, fundraisers, that kind of thing. I'm actually going to see one of our former queens speak at Manchester University in February, which will be awesome. So yeah, so that is, I mean, it's just like a really fun thing to be involved in.
Why does this translate so much into the greater work that needs to be done in helping people with special needs?
Well, one thing I think is that it's just showing other people, like people without disabilities or people that have not been involved in this world before, what those girls and women are capable of. Another thing is that I was just talking about this with a friend. Like, I love how, I can see those 7 and 8 year olds here. And then whenever I see those older women that I get to work with there, it really like puts into perspective, like what we're doing, and like the independence that we're trying so hard to grow. And I think that, it's easy to think about like those days when they're, 7 and 8, like in my classroom, and doing certain things for them. And we talk a lot about that, like not doing those things for them. Cause then I see that like impact, whenever they're older. And we actually have younger girls too. Like you can start those pageants when you're 5. And it is cool to see like the girls who have done it like over and over. I've only been involved in it since 2019. I was a judge in 2019, and then I took over as a director. And there are some girls who have done it since 2019 or even before, so it's awesome to see like year to year how their confidence grows and like what they're willing to do on stage, they do a passion presentation, which is kind of like a talent. And it just is like, it's awesome to see like what they're willing to put out there, or in the interview with the judges, like what they're willing to talk about, and like they'll open up a little bit more each year. So that's something I've really enjoyed.
COVID has been, the pandemic, it's been hard for all teachers, but I know special education really took a hit during the pandemic. We're coming out of it. You're back with those kids in the classroom. But what are you seeing now? What work needs to be done from here? And what do you really want parents and people to know how they can help in this process?
Something that I think that we're seeing is just like general, everybody is like a little bit more behind. I think that's what we're seeing, and something that we actually have the blessing of in my classroom specifically is that like you can really just meet the kids where they're at. So I've like really enjoyed that part of it. The students that I service, they are typically like going to be in school until they're 22. They can get a certificate of completion at graduation. That is typically what we're working towards. So I really, I like that about our program, because it gives us the freedom to be able to meet them where they're at. Like if they have like fallen behind because of the pandemic, or, just like the virtual instruction that we did. I think that is something that we have the blessing of. Also that we have like started doing since the pandemic is like the e-learning days, which some people were doing kind of before, but now we're doing, now we have those too, like on snow days. We are, we actually don't have a real snow day. And so it is just like, it's interesting to see all of the students and families like on Zoom, and how, like what they're doing in their own houses. And I think just like, participating to like the best of their ability in that too is something that is important, because I know that it's stressful for a lot of people, including teachers. Like we don't really know what we're doing. Like when we went to school, no one taught us how to do that, and so I think, giving each other grace is important too.
And special education adds another layer to that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it is clearly something you love. What do you want other people out there to know if they're thinking about becoming a teacher, or specifically a special education teacher? Because I know we need more teachers. What do you want people to know?
One thing is finding like your reason. I think a lot of people say that, and it's easier said than done, what like keeps you coming back every single day, And the other thing is that I think that it is going to be the most rewarding thing that like you have ever done. So I think that keeping that in mind is important too. We don't do this for like the money and the fame, whatever. So we, just really finding that reason of why you want to come back every single day, and knowing that there are going to be like extremely tough days. But those tough days make all those good days worth it. I do want to make it a mission to kind of make sure that I'm doing my part to have, everybody know like this is what they're capable of, and see me and see how I treat my students with disabilities. I don't treat them differently. I don't not set high standards for them. And that is something that is really important to me. I think that stuck out to my family, like when I started kind of taking care of Donnie and things like that, and they could see me with him, and they were all like, kind of like sometimes like, give him a break. And I'm like, no, like he needs to learn, whatever we're talking about, because, that's important for him too. And like, we don't, you don't have to do everything for them. They are capable of so much. And if you give them, like when you set those high standards, I think, they rise to them. So it's really fun to tell parents that in meetings too. Like, I've had so many parents say like, oh my gosh, I had no idea they could do that,
It's truly an inspiration with all you do. And I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us again today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Ms. DeHart gave her students those holiday presents on the Wednesday right after our story aired and just before the holiday break. She said the kids were so surprised and excited. She sent me some pictures. They're up on our website, wishtv.com right now in the Golden Apple section, so check it out. From Wish TV, I'm Hannah Mordeau. We're going to continue honoring teachers here in Central Indiana who go above and beyond to make a difference in children's lives. So if you know a teacher who is deserving of recognition, please nominate them for the Golden Apple Award. It is so easy to do. Just send a detailed nomination to wishtv.com/Golden Apple and listen for the next winner right here on the All Indiana Podcast Network.
The Wish TV Golden Apple Awards podcast. Nominate a teacher and learn more at wishtv.com now. Be sure to follow and subscribe to this podcast and discover even more great podcasts now on the All Indiana Podcast Network at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.